I want to repeat a criticism that I made when you weren't here, to your face. The Democrats are at least using every minute they have, and their viewers out there every minute, to say, here's our case, and your side isn't.
Chris Wallace is one of the only right-wingers in cable news who's willing to call out the lies of the Trump administration. And during a recent panel discussion that included Trump advisor Kellyanne Conway, there was no exception. He hit back hard with some follow-up questions that I think are important to confront her with. So without further ado, let's watch the first video.
I want to repeat a criticism that I made when you weren't here, to your face, and see how you respond. And this comes particularly to the question of communication strategy, because clearly, although they've been debating 3 motions, subpoena documents, the Democrats have taken full use of their time, the full hour that they're allowed, to make a lot of their opening argument. And I guess the thing that surprises me a little on the part of the White House lawyers is that oftentimes they're only taking 20 minutes of their hour, 30 minutes of their hour. I understand the argument, well, there's nothing to see here, we don't need to dignify this, but the Democrats are at least using every minute they have, and their viewers out there every minute, to say, here's our case, and your side isn't.
Well, don't confuse, Chris, repetitive with relevant. They can say anything.
Repetitive doesn't hurt.
Simple multiplication, anything times 0 still equals 0. This is a trial. So I think, unlike the House proceeding, at least a trial is familiar to most Americans. They've either sat on the jury, watched a TV or movie. They know the way that our trial system works. They know many times the defense will say, now it's time for the defense. Do you have an opening statement? Sure. Would you like to call witness? The defense rests. That's the way the defense says, you've got no case. And the burden of proof always rests on the prosecutor's table. You want to bring this action? You want to remove this democratically elected man from office under the Constitution? You prove the case. So I don't think it's a matter of time so much as substance.
Well, we learned that Kellyanne Conway knows multiplication. I think that Andrew Yang's campaign should mail her some of those math pins.
Yeah.
But her argument fell flat and it was ridiculous. Let me just tackle what she had to say about the prosecution. Well, first of all, Chris Wallace is right, and I think that this also draws attention to the fact that Republicans refused to participate in the House hearings on the impeachment. They were given the opportunity, they could have participated, they refused to do so because they couldn't defend Donald Trump on the substance.
Yeah.
They couldn't. And now it's clear that Senate Republicans are having a hard time. So what Wallace was specifically talking about was the legal team for Donald Trump. They're not using up all of their time because how could they? They don't have anything to defend Trump. All they're doing is clutching their pearls and complaining about how they're being treated unfairly by Democrats, which is ridiculous because we're now in the Senate where Republicans have all the power. And when it comes to Kellyanne Conway's argument about the prosecution and how they need to prove their case, we agree on that. But she's leaving out important information about how Republicans, under Mitch McConnell's resolution, have prevented Democrats from subpoenaing witnesses and documents in the case. In any other trial, obviously the prosecution is able to do that, but they're not able to do it because of Mitch McConnell's resolution in this Senate impeachment trial.
Yeah. And so partly from what you just said, I think that we should tweak her analogy a little bit. Her analogy was, you know, that like cool moment when the defense is like, when near time we rest. Well, yeah, they're confident sometimes, and they would definitely be confident if the prosecutors were wearing straitjackets and they weren't allowed to bring in witnesses, and if the whole jury worked for the defendant, well then yeah, the defense attorneys would be pretty confident that they didn't need to put up much of a defense, I guess. She wants that. They keep saying we're not going to dignify this, but they have to pretend that this is a real thing, that it's being run as if there was anything to find, it would find it. It's a very like specific line they have to walk. And I would say that, like the person who sent in the comment, she is such a blatant liar that I don't think that she's really the right messenger for that anymore.
Right, yeah, definitely. And I think that Chris Wallace does a good job in basically calling her out on her lies. You're about to see more of that in the next clip.
This particular right, the $391 million, which had been approved by Congress, certified by the Defense Department that Ukraine was not corrupt, this president held it up. He releases it after the whistleblower story comes out, after Adam Schiff says he got caught and he had delayed so long that Congress had to pass a new law to release the aid further.
Well, that is knitting together, I think, something that's coincidence. You're looking at causation, but it could be coincidence.
The story breaks. Now the Democrats know about the whistleblower, are going to begin an investigation, and then on September 11th or 12th, the president releases the aid. You're saying it's a coincidence?
Yes. Why wouldn't it be? In other words, nobody has presented any evidence that it wasn't.
Why wouldn't it be a coincidence? Every reason in the world. Donald Trump didn't release the aid until the White House learned of the whistleblower complaint. Once they realized, oh damn, this is gonna be public and this could get me in a lot of trouble, I'm gonna release the aid. That's exactly what happened. That timeline is critical.
And it's so obvious.
Yeah.
There's a lot that's obvious in this thing, but the idea that, oh, we just got caught, let's admit it as if we were innocent is, everybody understands that. It's directly translatable to our own behavior. You know when like you walk into a room and someone gives you a look and you know that they now know that thing you've been trying to hide. And so you try to, like everybody's been in that situation. So you're gonna need a stronger defense than, of course it could be coincidence. Why wouldn't it be? Or whatever, or like
I love that she's using like YouTube troll comments, like correlation does not equal causation.
Yeah.
Right? It's like,
yes, okay, so sure, my guy shot a bullet. And yes, this other guy was struck by a bullet, but I mean, you're asserting causality when it could just be coincidence.
It's so crazy.
But again, it's the experience that I have had over and over and over and over again. It is easy to dunk on Kellyanne Conway, but it is bittersweet because she's only so ridiculous because it doesn't matter that she's ridiculous.
Well,
they're still gonna they're not gonna remove him, so she can keep joking about causality.
I know, but look, I think it's wrong to merely focus on whether or not Trump is gonna be removed. We all know how that's gonna end. We know that the Senate, since it's dominated by Republicans who love to cover up for Trump's criminality, are not gonna vote to remove him. But I think that all these lies, especially in the context of an interview where someone like Chris Wallace calls out the lies in real time, is important in making the case for voters, right? Who will find this distasteful, they will find this problematic. And more importantly, it provides even more material to use in campaigns against these ridiculous, spineless Senate Republicans.
You're right.
So there are other upsides to it, and let's focus on that. I think that that's a good thing, right?
Okay.
Anyway.
And good job by Chris Wallace there.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he hasn't been forced out.
Again, we always give this caveat, he's conservative, we don't agree with him on pretty much anything, but he at least has a backbone. And he's doing a good job in calling out these lies.
Yeah, this is the best thing that he could be doing with his time. TYT is all about challenging and disrupting the status quo, and so is Aspiration. Aspiration does not invest your money into fossil fuel businesses that harm our planet, such as pipelines and oil drilling. Instead, you'll be able to fight climate change with tools like AIM, the Aspiration Impact Measurement, and Planet Protection. They also don't hit you with outrageous fees for you to access your own money. You can even earn cash back and get free ATM uses up to 5 times a month. Head to aspiration.com/TYT to learn more. For a limited time, get 30 days of free TYT membership when you sign up.